She got rained on last night, but she's still looking better now that we rinsed all the dirt off of her and got those badges off the door. Welcome back to another video on Pure Panorama. I told you guys we were gonna have a few uploads this weekend, and today, if we have some time after I get back from the store, we are gonna dive into trying to get that brake adjustment cable done on the driver's side rear drum brake. Or if we don't get into that due to the weather, we're gonna do something different that I have in mind, and it has to deal with injectors. Uh-oh. I see you sitting here, girl. I haven't forgot about you. You'll be on the truck soon enough. For anybody who was wondering, if anyone was wondering, this is the oil that I use, Rotella T4 1540. Sometimes I throw the T5 synthetic blend in the truck, but usually I go with the Rotella. And always the Mopar Cummins oil filter. Thoughts on fender flares? That's why I don't like them, man. They're too bulky. And look at it, it's covering up his 5.7 liter. It looks like a 7 liter, not a 5.7 liter. Alright, so we have our wheel off, we got our brake drum off, and now we can go and get this adjustment cable taken care of. So this right here is the cable, and as you can see, it runs up in behind here. Supposed to come down into this little bracket that holds it out of the way so it doesn't get snagged in any springs or anything. And then from that bracket, it runs down around the inside of this shoe, and it hooks onto this little lever right here, which turns your star wheel down here and adjusts your rear shoes back to the outside of the drum to keep them working properly. As you can see, these shoes are still basically brand new because they just aren't making good contact. I am going to pull the passenger side rear tire off in that drum and get a look at those to see how different they are. But this is what we are working with. This is the cable that's been broken, and we have it now, so we're gonna go ahead and install it. At some point eventually we are going to have to take all this apart here, pull this out, and probably do new axle seals and rear bearings and all that, but obviously I don't have the parts to do that right now. But that is all going to get added to the list. As long as I'm going through and changing up parts and trying to freshen this truck up, then we're gonna add that to the list because that is not anything hard to do, so we might as well just get it done and out of the way. So we need to finish the braking system. We gotta get the upper and lower ball joints done with the U-joints in the front axle shafts, front wheel hub assemblies and bearings, and if we're gonna have new wheel bearings up front, we might as well do new seals and bearings in the rear as well. And I'm a little anal, so when I pull off my lug nuts, I lay them out in the exact order that I took them off, and they go right back onto the same stud that they came off from. Alright guys, so we got our rear adjustment cable back installed in there, brand new. As you can see, I did replace the actual lever and spring down here. I did not change out the star wheel because I did not feel like getting into pulling out other springs and stuff. I am in a race against time right now to beat the rain. So you can see that this actual adjustment wheel, the star wheel there, is still the old one, but I do have a new one. It shouldn't take long to do it, but I'm already starting to feel some sprinkles out here, so I needed to just get this back together. This is very basic. There is a nut on the back side of the drum housing here on the back of this plate. It's a 7/8 nut. So you can see that nut right there on the top above the two bolts that hold your wheel cylinder in. You have to remove that nut there. And then this whole little assembly right here that holds your parking brake lever, this is hooked to your parking brake cable, this little lever piece right here. All this will slide out. You may have to tap on it with a hammer just to break it free, depending on when the last time it was touched was. But once you get that busted free, basically this is a little force friction press fitted pin right here. You pop that free, you pop it loose, get it all separated, put your new cable in. Take a photograph of this with your phone before you do it or something, unless you have a good photographic memory, just so you know you're putting it back together in the right order. But it is very basic. There's only like 3 or 4 parts to it, and you just pop that all apart. I put a little anti-seize up here just to help keep things moving and not get them all bound up and sticking. You just put your new cable, hook it on there, press everything back together, and you make sure that when you put this back in, see how there's this little tab right here. This goes in between the shoes on the top, this one does, but then there's a tab on this lower one here that goes in between the shoes on the bottom, underneath, on just above your wheel cylinder here. So you got to make sure that those go in between the shoes, otherwise you'll have a cockeyed shoe and it won't be put back together right. And then that will unfortunately defeat the purpose of you putting in your new adjustment cable, because your brakes won't be functioning properly, because they won't be put back together in the correct order. So make sure of all that. Like I said, just take photographs. Anytime I do drum brakes, I always take photographs of it anyways, just so I have a reference to go back to and look at when I'm putting it back together. And I will be pulling these apart again soon. Obviously, I don't need to do new shoes. My springs and the hardware in here is good, but I am going to be changing the wheel cylinders out on both sides, and while I'm in here again, I will change the little adjustment star wheel that's down here on the bottom. But that's it. I'm going to pop the drums back on both sides of the truck right now, and I also did use the passenger side as a reference too, just to make sure I was hooking this up properly, so that we didn't have issues down the road. So I'm going to put the drums back on, put the wheels back on, get them all tightened down and torqued up. We're gonna let that thing idle for a minute and warm up, and then we're gonna take it for a drive. But I wanted to correct myself, because a little bit ago I said that nut on the back of the drum brake and on the rear of that, where you had to take that off to push the stud out to release your parking brake lever and all that, so that you could put that adjustment cable back on, or switch it in my case. I think I said it was a 7/8, and I was my mouth was moving faster than my brain was. I meant to say it's a 7/16, so it's 7/16. It's a tiny little freaking thing. So I needed to correct that and put that out there. But we are done with it. That's all I had time for today, and it looks like we're getting the clouds rolling in right now. We're probably gonna start getting rain down here very shortly, so we're gonna give this girl a test drive, see if we can't get that adjuster working and pressing those shoes out to the drums, and that's gonna be it. I did say that I wanted to do something different if it was gonna rain and I couldn't do the brake stuff today, and I mentioned something about injectors. Well, I'm gonna do that in another video, because I think it will be fun, and I think you guys might like it and think that it's cool. So we're gonna look into doing that pretty soon, and I don't know, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Injectors. I'm just gonna pull off here in this little turnaround like always. The neighbors probably think I'm crazy because I always go this same way. I always come up here, pull off into that little turnaround in the farm field, spin around and go back to the house, and I'm literally driving by their house like twice in 2 minutes. So they probably think I'm nuts, but I gotta give the old girl a test drive. There goes a power stroke with 2 stacks. I will say that the brakes do feel much better, so I can tell that I'm getting brakes from the rear now 100% because my adjusters are working properly. And when I backed out of the driveway and I slammed the brakes, usually that's when they will really kick in and adjust those shoes. I heard a big old crunch, so I know that they moved and I could feel it. So I'm hoping that they're good and will be good, but we'll really get a good feel for this tomorrow. I don't really feel like taking it for a long test drive tonight. I need to eat, shower, edit the video, but I can already feel quite a big difference in the pedal. It's much more firm. It doesn't sink down to the floor as much as it used to. Now all we need to do is swap that master cylinder, see if that helps things out, and if it doesn't, then we're getting into the hydroboost. But I think, I don't know, we might get off the hook by just doing the master cylinder, so we'll find out when we get to that point, but that's gonna have to happen soon. So like I was saying in the truck, that definitely made a difference. Before, it definitely was sinking down a little bit, probably about like halfway before things wanted to really start to engage, and that's not happening now. I did hear and feel quite the crunch when I backed out of the driveway and hit the pedal, and usually when you're backing up and in reverse, that's when the adjusters really work the most, and will catch and grab and spread those shoes. They adjust in reverse, and then going forward, they're adjusted to where they need to be to help you in slowing down while you're traveling forward. That's my theory anyways, but I could be wrong because I'm not a brakeologist. So with that being said, we're gonna give it a real good test run tomorrow on our way out to work, so we'll be able to get a good feel for it then. And we still have to do the master cylinder, see if that helps things out a little bit with the slow return of the pedal. If that doesn't do it, then we will be doing the hydro boost on it as well, so it'll have all new braking system on it. Probably need to replace a couple of lines up underneath the hood that run to the master cylinder also, but we'll dive into that eventually and take care of it. Things are still good for right now, so I'm not in any rush to get to that for now. There's other things that I want to get to and finish up first. But that's enough out of me. I need to get inside, wash up, eat some dinner, start to edit this video. Do me a favor, leave a like on it. Likes really help out with getting the channel noticed and recommending the videos to new people, hopefully to turn them into new subscribers, to build a good community here on Pure Panorama. If you're new, stopping in for the first time, hit that subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss anything that we're going to be doing this summer. Just fun stuff, man. We're trying to build a good community here, and it's a never-ending project with this whole 24 valve Cummins that's behind me. So I hope you guys enjoy what you see, and I hope you want to see more, because I'm gonna be putting it out there for you. All right, that's enough. I gotta go. See you in the next video. Peace. Oh god damn, I'm out of breath after saying all that. I just wanna